sir.
My name is Anirudh Agarwal, and I'm at the Cleveland Clinic, Abu Dhabi. At the outset, I would like to thank Dr. Darash Shroff for this opportunity to present my thoughts on OCTA in retinal vascular occlusions. Before I begin, a short note here on retinal plexi. We know that retinal capillaries are arranged in a very well-defined laminar pattern, and they form what are called as plexi. Traditionally, we know that there is a superficial and deep retinal vascular plexus, and there are pre-capillary branches that run vertically connecting the two plexi. The development of OCT angiography with projection artifact removal has allowed identification of distinct capillary plexi. So we all know there are superficial and deep plexi, and there are multiple papers which have provided segmentation of the superficial and deep vascular layers. Recently, we realized that there is another intermediate capillary plexus, which is at the inner edge of the inner nuclear layer. So the superficial plexus is within the ganglion cell layer, and the deep plexus is at the outer edge of the outer nuclear layer. With this, we realize that cotton wool spots are essentially ischemia of the superficial capillary plexus. PAM is ischemia of the deep capillary plexus, resulting in an inner nuclear layer infarct. And acute macular neuroretinopathy, or AMN, is ischemia of the DCP, which results in a very different outer retinal involvement compared to PAM, because it involves the outer plexiform layer, outer nuclear layer, and beyond. So both of these entities are essentially ischemia of deep capillary plexus, but remember, they have different manifestations. This is essentially deep retinal ischemia. Now, PAM is a newly described entity, relatively new since the advent of OCT, but we must remember that there is no possibility of only an isolated intermediate capillary plexus infarct, for the simple reason that there are small arterioles which connect these plexi together. So sometimes you may be misled by some of these acronyms which are being used in the literature. So this is a cotton wool spot. It's an ischemic lesion. We know that it affects the superficial capillary plexus. Whereas paracentral acute macular ischemia, or PAM, is an ischemic lesion which is affecting the deep capillary plexus, resulting in inner nuclear layer infarct and eventual thinning. And it can happen because of either two reasons. One is the high outflow pressure or low inflow pressure. And further, the high outflow pressure is due to venous occlusions, and low inflow pressure, is because of arteriolar occlusion, but also occasionally because of emboli and hypoperfusion. This is the first case of a 45-year-old male with recent onset scotoma in the left eye. And we know that this patient has this yellowish lesion, hypopigmented, just nasal to the foveal center. And we realize that on fluorescein angiography, it doesn't show much, but only in the late phase, you have subtle hyperfluorescence nasal to the fovea. The OCT shows you hyperreflectivity of these retinal layers. And you can see even the inner retina is involved in a particular scan. The ganglion cell layer, inner nuclear layer, is involved with hyperreflectivity. And the OCT angiography is very revealing in this patient. It shows you a distinct loss of the capillaries in the deep retinal plexi. And this patient eventually underwent MRI brain, MR angiography, which confirmed the diagnosis of vascular migraine. So this is nothing but a vasospasm-related PAM. This is our next case of a 54-year-old male with loss of vision in the left eye. He has systemic risk factors, including hyperlipidemia, smoking, and he's hypertensive. And we realized that there is this classic wedge-shaped PAM, which is in addition to the AION, which was diagnosed 6 months ago. If you look at the OCT, there is thinning, and you see hyperreflectivity of the inner nuclear layer and thinning of the inner nuclear layer in the subsequent scan. So that means this patient has actually had an INL infarct. This is a PAM which is associated with cilioretinal artery occlusion, resulting in SCP ischemia and atrophy. So you see that there is an overlap. This is not just the in a nuclear layer, but also the ganglion cell layer. And this is what I meant when I said earlier that you have the arterioles feeding into the plexi, and so often you get a mixed or an overlap between the ischemia of superficial, intermediate, and deep plexi. This is another patient with profound loss of vision in the left eye. He has an unstable plaque because of an angina, and he has heart disease, and you can see the emboli in the blood vessels very clearly, just superior to the foveal center. And this is another nasal view. You can see these yellowish emboli sitting in the vessels. And fluorescein angiography shows you ischemia of the retina. And in the late phase, you can see it more clearly. So this is a PAM associated with retinal artery embolization. Next case is of a 39-year-old female. Now this is moving on to inflammation, and this patient has dengue fever with NS antigen positivity and low vision in both the eyes, but there is a distinct white lesion in the right eye. If you do the fluorescein angiography, there is a late ill-defined hyperfluorescence in both the eyes, and you have a few microaneurysms which have been reported in dengue fever. The OCT is very revealing. Again, there is this wedge-shaped lesion which is very clearly seen on this infrared image. So you always look at the infrared image and then correlate it with the hyperreflectivity that you see in the retinal layers. Now, a very distinct feature here is the outer retinal involvement. The photoreceptors are involved, and there is a focal sort of disruption that you see in the scan in the middle. So there is disruption of the ellipsoid zone and the interdigitation zone. And you can see in the follow-up image number C that there is this discontinuity or thinning of the photoreceptor and ellipsoid zone. This is nothing but acute macular neuroretinopathy in dengue fever, and we published this in the Indian Journal of Ophthalmology. The OCT angiography shows you this distinct loss in the deep capillary plexus. So this is AMN, which is associated with dengue retinopathy, and just to reiterate, it is very different from PAM that we described earlier, because in AMN, you have the involvement of the ellipsoid and photoreceptor zones, which are not seen in PAM. But again, there could be an overlap between these two entities. So there have been authors who have used OCT angiography to monitor the ischemic areas in branched and central vein occlusion. And you can see in the follow-up, these vascular collaterals are very easily seen using OCT angiography in a follow-up patient with BRVO. Especially, you must look at the deep capillary plexus, because these collaterals are very much visible in this particular segmentation slab. This is an image taken from a recently published paper in PLOS ONE. Similarly, improved quantification methods have brought about number of indices. And we have been also working on some of these indices, and these include branching of the vessels, the geometrical pattern of branching, the number of branching, the branch length, as well as the Euclidean length. So all of these are new parameters that have been applied from various fields such as astronomy and geometry into the OCT angiography images. We always had the vessel density with us, but they are newer indices, and they may be sometimes more sensitive in detecting ischemia or loss of vessels. As you can see in the CRVO eye, you have decreased density compared to the fellow eye in the deep capillary plexus. So we've always seen that the deep capillary plexus can be much more revealing in these particular patients. And with this, I'd like to conclude by stating that the deep retinal ischemia, including AMN and PAM, can be visualized clearly on OCTA. And OCTA is very useful in detecting retinal ischemia in CRVO and BRVO. Quantitative measurements with OCTA, especially using the newer indices, are very much possible, and they're very helpful in assessing patients with CRVO. Thank you very much.